This is Bridget Mwanoka bringing you our 7:30 news bulletin, coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center in Area 2, Lirongwe. The headlines. Pope Francis encourages Catholic faithful to get out of their comfort zone to seek God like Meiji. Government assures of its commitment towards empowering local citizens to own land. Lack of tuition fees forces over 1,300 students to withdraw from Natural Resources College. And news from elsewhere, former Botswana president asks court to set aside arrest order. Now the news in detail. On the solemnity of the Epiphany, Pope Francis said that if the Magi had remained comfortable, they never would have encountered the Lord in Bethlehem. In his homily for the church celebration of the Three Kings today, the Holy Father warned that today's world is full of tranquilizers of the soul and empty promises of pressure. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagli served as the main celebrant of the liturgy of the Eucharistic for the Epiphany Mass, with Pope Francis offering the homily. Bernard Mwanza reading a Vatican News report.
The Holy Father underlined that God, however, is found in restless questioning and seeking the answers to life's bigger questions like, where do I find a love that does not fade away? A love that endures even in the face of frailty, failure, and betrayal? What hidden opportunities are present in the midst of my crisis and my sufferings? The Pope quoted an Epiphany homily by the late Benedict XVI, whose funeral he presided over yesterday. Benedict XVI said of the monk, their outward pilgrimage was the expression of their inward journey, the inner pilgrimage of their hearts, quoting his predecessor's 2013 homily for Epiphany. The solemnity of the Epiphany celebrates the arrival of the monk, also known as Three Wise Men or Three Kings, who came with gifts to worship the child Jesus shortly after his birth. The solemnity is traditionally celebrated on 6th January, but Catholic dioceses in the United States mark the feast on the Sunday that falls between January 2nd to 8th. Catholics in the United States, as well as here in Malawi, will celebrate the Epiphany this Sunday on 8th January.
The Ministry of Lands has said government is, through the new land laws, committed towards ensuring that it empowers local citizens to own land and not otherwise. In his remarks earlier today, as he briefed the press and the nation at large on the new land laws, which were amended in 2022 by Parliament, Deputy Minister of Lands, Deusi Gumba, said under the new laws, foreigners are no longer allowed to own land, and those coming as investors will be granted an opportunity to only lease land upon thorough assessment by Malawi Investment and Trade Center. Tandiwe Mzumara has more details.
The amended land laws include the Customary Land Act, which provides critical provisions for the governance and administration of customary land. In summary, it prohibits selling of land to foreigners, selling of vacant and undeveloped land, and promotes the registration of customary land by indigenous Malawians free of charge. In his remarks, Deputy Minister of Lands Deusi Gumba MP observed with deep concern that people in some parts of the country are selling vacant pieces of public, customary and freehold land to foreigners using the Old Act, which was repealed in 2016, a situation that often leaves indigenous Malawians displaced, at times even landless. According to Gumba, it is for this reason, henceforth, government shall no longer grant consent to any person who intends to sell or transfer vacant leasehold or freehold land.
At the Ministry of Lands, we have a system that we have developed and it's rolling out, land information management system. This is a system which will capture all the data. For instance, if Mr. Gondwe is applying for land or a plot, and for instance, he's already got 15 plots, by a patch of a pattern, all the information regarding all the pieces of land that he owns in this country will be flagged down. And obviously, as a ministry, we will have to make an appropriate decision. So this all in all is to bring sanity when it comes to land issues in the country. All in all, the benefit of Malawians.
Gumba went further to disclose that the ministry will in the near future start giving sectional titles for citizens to co-own multi-story buildings in view of the population growth. According to Gumba, the ministry is also currently reviewing the law to regulate estate agents and bring sanity in the field. In an effort to sensitize the general public on key provisions on the amended laws, the Ministry of Land officials have been holding meetings with stakeholders to impart tailored information related to the amended land laws, which came into effect on the 1st of July 2022. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Tandiwe Mzumara.
Authorities at Natural Resources College, NRC, of Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Luana, have confirmed that over 1,300 students have withdrawn from the college between 2017 and 2022 due to lack of tuition fees. This has been said yesterday at the college campus following a visit by Parliamentary Committee on Education, Science and Technology to appreciate the operation of the college. In his remarks, College Director for NRC of Luana, Dr. Moses Nyama, fears the situation of students withdrawing from the school, if not timely addressed, will affect farmers' access to agricultural extension services in the country. Adina Fepiri reports.
Since NRC was integrated into Luana, the college has registered remarkable academic and infrastructure achievements, but some gaps still remain in as far as having enough skilled personnel in the agricultural sector is concerned. According to the college director, Dr. Moses Chinyama, the college is having challenges in sustaining students at the school due to their lack of tuition fees, especially those from vulnerable households. Dr. Chinyama cited that 15% of students withdraw from the college every semester, and over 1,300 have already withdrawn themselves between the years of 2017 and 2022. The college director has since asked the Parliamentary Committee on Education to help in pushing for the review of the law which restricts diploma students from accessing government educational loans through the Higher Education Students' Loans and Grants Board.
NRC has had challenges in terms of student withdrawing, but they withdraw on the financial basis. They don't have fees. So if they were given an opportunity to loan, I don't think we could have lost all those 1,300 plus students. So what it simply means is this particular facility should be extended to even those students that are pursuing diplomas.
In his remarks, Vice Chancellor of Luana, Professor Emmanuel Kaunda, said as a country there is need to work closely with legislation with much focus on funding, particularly for schools of building technocrats.
As technocrats, we need to work very, very closely with the legislature, in particularly doing resource allocation. And together we should identify which are priority areas. And in this case, particularly, we are impressing on them the importance of supporting NRC in particular.
Commenting on the matter, Chairperson for Parliamentary Committee on Education, Brenix Kaisi, said they'll make sure that they table the Act of Higher Education Students' Loans and Grants Board in Parliament in order to make necessary amendments so that it accommodates everyone, including those pursuing a diploma.
and it is an issue that we want to table it, to take it up, and the only way that we can do it is to change the Act of Loans Board so that they include diplomas, because in the Act they are saying advanced diploma and first degree. So you can see that in our country they don't have any college which is advocating advanced diploma.
Responding on concerns of farmers wanting farm managers, College Director for NRC said these farmers cannot manage to hire a graduate as a farm manager because they are on a small-scale production. And in his remarks, the chairperson for Parliamentary Committee on Education has said they'll lobby for farmers to be getting loans to form cooperatives so that they address challenges of failing to hire a farm manager individually. Reporting for Luntha News, this is Alina Fiperi.
You're still watching news on Luntha television, and we'll be back shortly after this break.
Mbokunyadirani mukukondani mosangalala kuti ino ndi amene mapangitsa kakhutagona akhalemba kuyambira lolemba lachitatu komanso lachisanu nthawi ya 10 minutes past 12 masana
zonsezi
ndimbu yace chemagawa bambo ace asata
inu muli phe kwina kulikonse komwe muli
live pakanema yotsogola ya Luntha kakhutagona pa Luntha television.
Ine ndine chivechi ramika pempha kubanyani ma chivechi tikorerane tiwe pamoja chifukwa para tingamazi yankhaza chituko chingenda makora para ankhaza zilimo mmizi chituko chingenda yayi kulomba kubanyani kuti tikhali pamoja timazi yankhaza.
Ine ndine chivechi mwipime mangolera na pembamwe banyane mose kuti tigwirane pamoja kumaja ngaza
ni kumba kuti tikorerane kona ine munyino hapa na banyitu aba chomene cha nkasa makamaka vya wana sungwana na wanyamatuwo wa sukuru kweni ise pata korerane se mafumu tose na banyitu utuzambishanga mapunga na boma litu la malawi ingawa makola kuti umwe witu ngatamutazi.
Utenga uwu ukufumira ku upo wa Evangelical Association of Malawi EAM mwakukolerana na Luntha TV na uviri wa kufumira ku NORAD kuzira ku Norwegian Church Aid and Danish Church Aid.
Welcome back, and thank you for sticking around. But if you have just joined us, here are our top stories. Pope Francis encourages Catholic faithful to get out of their comfort zone to seek God like magic. Government assures of its commitment towards empowering local citizens to own land. Lack of tuition fees forces over 1,300 students to withdraw from Natural Resources College. And news from elsewhere, former Botswana president asks court to set aside arrest order. Proceeding with our news, National Organization of Nurses and Midwives of Malawi, NOM, has disclosed that they are supporting the Civil Servants Trade Union, CSTU, and Teachers Union of Malawi, TUM, saying the salaries of civil servants are very low, despite that they do a lot of work compared to others. NOM President Charles Simiza told Luntha television earlier today that the outcry of stakeholders and Malawians should be a wake-up call for the government to raise salaries up to 50%. Priska Mashushu caught up with Simiza.
We're pushing on government to open up their ears and listen to civil servants that their salaries are too small. You know, the budget that is expiring, they only raised the salary by 12%, which is by far too small compared to the valuation at 25% plus.
National Tuberculosis and Leprosy Elimination read by Rashida Matandika.
Anthu ambiri amakonda kumvera nyimbo ndipo penanso kuimba nawo nyimbozi zomwe zimatanthauza kuti uthenga wake aumvetsetsa. Many people listen to music and even sing along, which means they understand each and every word in the song. A well-composed song can make millions of people grab the message within a short period of time. Nindi said it's now time that everyone should take part in the fight against TB and leprosy if the country is to eliminate the two diseases by 2030. She asked musicians to volunteer composing TB and leprosy songs for the betterment of Malawians.
We have, of course, plans to reach out to a number of musicians to compose the songs, the TB and leprosy songs. But we have shortfalls. For those NGOs who deal with TB and leprosy, they can reach out to us so that they can support us. These musicians will need something, some resources for studio and their transportation. Also, there are some musicians who can be willing to help us just to compose the TB song or leprosy song. They can come to us for messages and they can develop the songs and help us.
Commenting on the plea, musician Laston Mbuno, popularly known as Chintengela, asked Malawians to listen carefully to his TB Eucharistic song and encouraged them to go for TB and leprosy screening. Chintengela, who is National Tuberculosis and Leprosy Elimination Program Ambassador of Music, challenged all Malawians to go for TB and leprosy screening in time, not to wait until things get out of control.
Let me encourage Malawians, as well as the youth in particular, that they should go for TB and leprosy screening. Don't wait for the diseases to go out of hand.
Recently, National Tuberculosis and Leprosy Elimination Program also engaged and trained faith leaders with an aim of reaching everyone with TB and leprosy messages.
In our international news today, former President of Botswana, Ian Khama, has filed an application at the High Court in the country's capital, Gaborone, asking it to set aside an arrest warrant issued by a magistrate court last week. The judge issued orders that Mr. Khama, who left office in 2018, should be arrested on site for failure to appear for trial earlier last year. According to the former president, the warrant of arrest threatens his right to liberty in circumstances where he has committed no crime, saying should this warrant of arrest not be stayed or set aside, he would suffer irreparable harm which cannot be compensated for in any form. He is facing 14 charges, including allegations of money laundering and handling stolen property, but the arrest warrant issued is related to a charge of possession of 5 illegal firearms. Well, with that, we conclude our news today, but before we go, let's take a look at our top stories. Pope Francis encourages Catholic faithful to get out of their comfort zone to seek God like Meiji. Government assures of its commitment towards empowering local citizens to own land. Lack of tuition fees forces over 1,300 students to withdraw from Natural Resources College. And news from elsewhere, former Botswana president asks court to set aside arrest order. That's all I had for you. Thank you for choosing Luntha Television. This has been Bridget Manuka. Stay blessed and have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.